Hey Fit Fam, it is Coach Rye from Team Flex. We're here breaking down New York Pro wellness. We did Pittsburgh Pro just a little bit here ago and you guys loved it. You wanted to see more. You asked me, hey, what about New York? So we're getting into it. I'm going to break down criteria, placings, and talk with you a little bit about some changes, maybe, where this division could be heading. So if you want to compete in wellness, you are competing in wellness, you want to do better in wellness, this is the video to be watching, and also the channel to be subscribed to, because we're doing stuff like this all the time for you to make you your best competitor. All right, let's dive in and talk about this. So New York Pro, just kind of right after Pittsburgh Pro, another one of those top big shows where we get to see some of the pros of the season turn out and kind of set the tone for the season in a sense, heading on the way to the Olympia, them getting their points, them showing physiques, us getting better insight into what judges are looking for. So if we're looking here at New York Pro lineup, this is actually interesting because this is the full lineup. It's actually a very small New York Pro comparatively. Not a huge turnout for the wellness in this, but it doesn't mean anything different as far as quality goes. So let's talk about this. So here we got Giselle. She's our winner again. She won Pittsburgh Pro. She's winning New York Pro again. We got Tiffany over here. Tiffany took 4th at Pitts. She's taken 2nd at New York Pro. That's pretty cool. And we got over here Lily. Lily got 3rd at Pitts. She's getting 3rd here again at New York. So kind of, some of the same athletes rolling out. Some of them didn't show up the same from Pitts to here. And then, we got some athletes on the outside too we'll talk a bit about. So let's start with, first off, the kind of criteria judges are looking at. So Giselle, if you look at Giselle here, you guys, you'll see already, all right, we got roundness to the shoulder, fullness here, some development to the arms, this tapered look at the waist, all this coming together like that nicely, and the lower body dominance we talk about that makes wellness the wellness division. Super full glutes, super full hamstrings, super full quads, and the conditioning that is not too hard, not too crazy. Now, I know you guys are looking at this saying, okay, Ryan, you've talked all the time on this channel about how wellness is disproportionately, dominant, lower body. Giselle's looking pretty jacked up here. She's got, some shoulder roundness, fullness. This is all important. You still do have to have that. You have to have that kind of rounding effect to the shoulders, that development, but it still has to be disproportionate to the lower body, which in some poses in wellness, it doesn't look like it. Like this is one, for example, most of the athletes, you might be like, hey, they look pretty symmetrical. But when we actually look at the other poses, you'll see just how the difference is there. And Giselle is still, even though she's holding all this muscle, still very over dominant lower body, and that's why she's winning these classes. To talk about her conditioning, wellness conditioning is soft lines. They want to see some soft lines here in the shoulders, stuff like this. We'll look at better pictures in a minute too. I just want to show you guys the class overall. But there's no splits, no cuts, no deep striations you'd see if she was too lean, things like that. So really she's nailing the muscularity, nailing conditioning, and it's towering over everybody else in this call out. Okay, Tiffany, she moved up, right? Tiffany, guys, if you didn't watch the last one, I actually have experience with her and Lily both. I coached them both for a very long time, a considerable amount of time. So it's really cool to see them at this level. Always had a great base, always had great framework, and here they are pulling it off at New York Pro. Awesome. So Tiffany, she pulled up in the stats, right? She pulled up from 4th at Pitts into actually 2nd place here at New York Pro, which is pretty significant improvement considering these shows are very close together. If you watch the Pittsburgh Pro show, I said her conditioning was off. That's what she improved here. That's what she came in better. Obviously, you're not going to change your muscularity, anything like that, show to show you guys. She still has the shape. She still has improvements to make, in my opinion, that she's going to do, obviously moving into the next season, so on and so forth. But conditioning is something that can always be shifted. Show to show, you can come in a little softer at the next one. You can come in a little harder at the next one. Whatever you need to do, depending kind of how you are peaking and what you're doing with, your carbs and your sodium and all that to really bring the fine physique in. So that's how she ended up improving placings. Lily, she pretty much stayed in the same physique, came in, here she is, maybe even a little softer, and that could be, why she didn't pull up into that 2nd slot. But what we will see right out at the gate, okay, if we look outside this top 3, we're going to see, the outer callouts, a little bit different posing, okay? A little bit different in the posing department, a little bit different in the muscle department, not as much shoulder, not as much quads, not as much so on and so forth, and conditioning being different. So that's a factor. That's something you want to know. All right, let's look at another shot here. This is better, in my opinion, of a shot, the quarter turn, to kind of get an idea of where things are really stacking up. Okay, so this is where Giselle really gets to shine and show you, all right, wellness is looking like wellness right here. So, you look at this and you say, okay, she's super jacked. Hamstrings, glutes, quads, everything is, pretty built, developed. She looks really lean here, conditioned. Yes, she is pushing the criteria a lot, but she's also just so much more outstanding comparatively to any of the other athletes in this call out, and that's why she's going to win the show no matter what. Okay, Tiffany came up, she improved her conditioning. We can see that in the quads and the lines and everything I'm talking about, but she's still lacking the upper body muscle compared to Giselle over here. She's still lacking lower body muscle compared to Giselle over here, and same goes for Lily. And as we move out the call out, you're going to see there's a lot of muscle, like Deja over here. She's got a lot of muscle, good shape. Didn't really bring that conditioning through right. And a lot of these athletes could benefit from, taking some more time to build some more muscle. So we talked about this in the Pittsburgh Pro video where we said judges might be sending a message, wellness is going more muscular. And that's actually a really interesting statement, that I was talking about. I think a lot of you guys took that the wrong way to say, all right, Ryan's saying the whole criteria is changing. It's definitely not. And we're going to talk about that in a future video, and I'll go more into that. So make sure you're subscribed. But we're going to talk about it just a little bit here for the sake of this too. Let's look at this back pose first though. So this is where you get to see, all right, they always say bodybuilding's one from the back. Same goes for wellness. We're looking at these athletes here, and you want to look for a few things in wellness. You want to see, again, that disproportionate shape, upper to lower body. Giselle's got it. She's rocking it. Quad sweeps on the outsides. You're going to see this on all athletes. Okay, wellness athletes always have a quad sweeping from the back pose, and that's just because they're so developed. And we'll see that on every single person on this stage, okay? But what we won't see is the same level of conditioning. You're going to see variances of softness on the outer sides here, and less muscularity overall, less development. Lily keeps pulling into this spot because, basically she's got so much muscle on her frame. She's a much shorter athlete than some of these athletes in this call out. So she has so much muscle, it just looks like, she's at this right thing, and for her frame, it's perfect. It's what fits, it what works. It can compete against athletes. They're actually bigger because of that. Tiffany here, she's lacking some in the glute, I think, and that's why she couldn't pull up over Giselle in this case. But again, these improvements, these things can change show to show. Things will happen. Giselle's really holding that fullness, holding that shape, holding that glute development, that upper glute we always talk about being so important. Overall, just everything, and staying lean and tight, and that's what's really bringing it together. Okay, another quarter turn here just for sake of looking at the same things we're talking about. Not going to waste time saying all the same individual things, but Giselle's got the full package. That's how she won. This is how she's pulling it off, okay? And when you look at a few other just shots here, it's just cool to see in general, these physiques kind of lining up and the differences between them, what you're looking at versus what we see in the pictures. Also, if you're not going to shows, ladies and gents, and you're into wellness, you want to compete, you're considering competing, go to actual competitions. Don't just look at pictures, don't look at videos, don't just watch my channel, okay? Like, all that's great, but go to the actual shows, go to competitions, go get tickets, even if it's just a regional show, get an idea of what actually physiques look like on stage, because they look a lot different on stage than they do in pictures. All right, and now I want to look real quick, just a comparison between the first place winner, Giselle here at New York Pro, and then our last place competitor, Carol, just to give you guys an idea the differences here and what judges are kind of looking for. So Giselle, remember we talked about having all this fullness, this shape, glutes are full, hamstrings full, quads full, waist tapers in, shoulders are developed, everything is good here. This is what they want to see. This is what judges are looking for. The muscle is there and the conditioning still is too, not hard. We're not getting, deep cuts and splits. If she was super, super lean, you would get a lot of that. Like, go look at Physqiue, you guys. Go look at women's physique. Go look at divisions, where they're focused on conditioning a lot more. This is a softer level of conditioning. Obviously, these athletes are all very, very lean, but not in the sense of the bodybuilding hierarchy, okay? Like wellness, bikini, all that, the conditioning is pretty on par, being a softer level of conditioning. Figure gets more aggressive, women's physique gets more aggressive, women's bodybuilding being the most as far as conditioning goes. This is a softer level of conditioning. Otherwise, we would see a lot of graininess and stuff like that that would score you down. We didn't really see any athletes scoring down for being too lean in this competition, interestingly enough. But, that's because it was also a small class, okay? But there's your first place, Giselle, here's Carol, who took 6, okay? So you're not going to see the same level of muscle here. Yes, she has the shape. She's got this coming in. Not the same level of glute development at all. Not the same level of hamstrings or quads, and not meeting that conditioning. Also, some posing stuff here. Posing is so important. I can't tell you guys enough. Make sure you're posing. Make sure you're coaching your athletes to be posing. Make sure everybody's posing, because that makes a big difference. And a lot of people think bodybuilding is just about dieting, training. No, it's really all about the presentation and the posing. And you can have a great physique and not be able to showcase it right, and judges won't know the difference. So important to see that, okay? I just want to say that for that. And let's look at the back pose here. So Giselle here again, showing all the framework that we talk about, everything we want to see, the tapered look, the overall just dominance of the lower body, the quad sweeping from the back, the glutes are full, the upper glutes full, everything, the tie-in is tight, everything's here, nothing's too crazy though. And then we flash over here to the 6th place, which is the last place of this call out. Okay, and you're not going to see that same level of development in the glutes. You're not going to see as much of the tie-in. You're still seeing a lot of the good framework of wellness. Don't get me wrong, athlete is outstanding athlete, but the point is, it's just the difference between first and, in this case, last place, what judges want to see. And again, I think some posing here, a little bit of asymmetry maybe on that. All this comes together, but just not having the overall muscularity and the conditioning, that does make a difference, ladies and gents. So that's our New York Pro kind of breakdown. I'm going to talk in the future in another video about what exactly is going on with the criteria, because a lot of you out there think it's changing. You're like, okay, this is the new standard, bigger, leaner. No. We're going to talk about that and who I think was still going to retain title at Olympia, even though it's May right now. I mean, I can tell you guys, we can talk about some placings at Olympia. We're going to do that in a future video here, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, and tell me what you know below in the comments, what you think. Do you agree with the placings? Do you like the way the judges are judging? Do you like the look of this division so far and where things are heading, or do you not? Comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching. Coach Rise out.